Now we get monsoons. We got the gist of it. If it's still not making sense in your head, go back and just watch it one more time. Kind of draw it out as you're going. It will make sense. I got to be honest with you. Every year I get kind of flummoxed on the high pressure, low pressure, high temperature, low temperature. I kind of get mixed up a little bit. But it's not as complicated as it sounds. It's really fairly simple. I just make it messy in my head and probably make it messier for you. So just take some time and think about that. I want to talk about a couple other sort of aspects of this. Number one, so we've got the monsoon system that's in South Asia. We've got the monsoon system that's up there in sort of northern China. We got two different monsoon systems is what we essentially have. Now, that's going to create a little bit of, we have another monsoon system, all right? And that monsoon system is really over here, Southeast Asia. This is Southeast Asia right there. But that's going to include parts of Australia. It's going to include Indonesia here. It's going to include the Philippines. Let's just talk about this for a second. In this area, we have two rainy seasons. Now, what do we know about rainy seasons? What we know is a rainy season is when the wind begins over the water and then moves inland. And of course, we know that that's going to be summertime in northern China and in India. But here's what we have in Southeast Asia, because you'll notice Southeast Asia, as opposed to like, here's kind of India, here's kind of China, and then, a hit like that. But Southeast Asia is kind of hanging out like this. And so essentially, they're going to have two rainy seasons. One, because the wind's moving this way, it starts over the water. Well, we'll just wait till next season, to the next season when it doesn't. But when it's going the other direction, it also starts over the water. It always starts over the water, which means it's always bringing rain. It's coming from different directions, but it's still rain. That's essentially what I mean by two rainy seasons. In both seasons, the winds blow in different directions. It's really kind of that simple. So you shouldn't be that surprised to think Southeast Asia probably has a lot of rain, and it does. A lot of rain, even to the point where it's difficult to grow things. It's why rice is the major food staple in that area. Wheat couldn't be grown in this area. Rice has to be grown in this area. Air in both seasons, moves over the Pacific, so it's always wet. So sometimes it's coming this way, sometimes it's coming this way, but it's always coming at you from over the water. And so you're getting lots of rain. This is going to be Indonesia. It's going to be Thailand, Vietnam, so the Southeast Asian area. And then southern China, which is going to have a very different climate than northern China. I think this is actually a picture here of southern China. And you'll sort of see, you can kind of see it here, the terraces where essentially the water is caught and the rice is grown in those terraces. One more thing I want to talk about, since we're talking about a lot of rain, is we want to talk about really wet seasons, okay? So we've got essentially our three monsoon systems in Asia. The one in South Asia with India, one up in North Asia, which is kind of China, Japan, all that. And then we have the Southeast Asia one, which was super messy. Okay, so this is not perfect, so just work with me on this a little bit. But you can understand that sort of, it's not just like this big old thing like this that's all just coming through. It kind of comes, there's kind of like a center to it, I guess you could say. It's like, how do I put this? In the middle, you're going to be getting a lot of rain. As you get towards sort of the edges of this, you're going to get less rain just because it kind of moves back and forth. I'm not really doing this for you, but it kind of shifts back and forth. So some years it's going to be predominantly coming over this way. Some years it's going to be shifted over more this way. Some years it'll be even more over this way. That's true for the Southeast Asian one too. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it shifts a little bit. I don't mean that it's just in that little area. I just mean that sort of the center where a lot of the rain is coming from is going to kind of move around. So you can imagine that there are some years where, say, much of the rain is over here and much of the rain is over here, and this is where it's even a wet season, it's not as wet as usual years. Other years where this is shifted over like this, and this is shifted over like this, and this area is getting pounded by both systems. So rain is coming from here, and rain is coming from here, and it's getting pounded in this area, and you're getting really wet seasons. So This is another thing about this is in some places in this, there is some consistency, but there's also a lot of places where there's a lot of inconsistency. One year it's going to be really wet. The next year it's going to be just normal. The next year it's going to be super dry, relatively speaking. Not dry like a desert, but not as much rain as you need to grow the crops, especially if you're growing rice, you need water. And then the next year, tons of water comes back the next time. Maybe there's 2 years in a row with tons of water, and the next year it's a dry one again. And this is sort of a problem. You get these really wet seasons when the South Asian and the Southeast Asian monsoon systems converge. And that happens every once in a while where, again, they're just sort of more moving towards that middle part. And this will happen predominantly at that sort of tip of the Bay of Bengal or the end of the Ganges River, where East India, Bangladesh, Burma. And you can see in those years things get really messy. I should also point out, just take a look at this picture right here. Does this look like people that are not used to this? No, they're used to this. They know flooding is going to happen. It's just a question of, it's a difference between, I know I'm going to be flooded at sort of knee level, but maybe this year it's wetter and we're kind of flooded at waist or higher level. That changes things quite a bit, even though it's only a foot or two of the amount of water that you're kind of wading through. All right, so I want you to take a look at a video. It's a real quick video, and it's a little older, about what happened in 2007 in Bangladesh, and then we'll come back and close this up.